Bart the bunny isn't exactly jumping for joy these days, but she's doing remarkably well for a rabbit recovering from a broken back. Bart's amazing recovery started with radical surgery, but the real breakthrough came when she was placed in the care of AccuVet Dr. Barry Hindmarch.
Okay, these are the x-rays of Bart. The head would be here, this is the little pelvis. This is where the fracture has actually taken place. And you can see that vertebra is the one that the fracture's gone through. And that is the metal pin that was surgically removed a little time later that was actually sitting in that area, which is why it's come up so white in that area. So the idea was to try and help keep the spine in a nice straight line by putting that pin over. So on this particular x-ray, again, this is where the pelvis is and Barty's little head sits over here. The pin was caught over the top of the vertebral process and then kept in that area to keep that bone here, which is the one that's fractured, in a nice straight line. Obviously with rabbits, with their hopping action, there's a lot of movement in this part of the spine, so it's changed the whole way that Barty's ended up moving, but at least it's meant that she's out of pain and alive.
The surgery was successful, but it's only part of Bart's recovery story. Dr. Hindmarch runs the Cape Animal Medical Centre's AccuVet clinic. He treats a variety of animals with acupuncture, an ancient Chinese complementary therapy aimed at mobilizing the body's own healing powers. Another of his star patients is a plucky little dachshund named Eric.
You can actually still see the scar over his back where he had the spinal surgery. And if you go down Eric's actual spine, you can actually feel a vertebra that is still kinked out of alignment.
Acupuncture has been used successfully on animals and humans for nearly 4,000 years, but no one really knows for sure how it works.
Eric here is an example of a dog that's had a lot of treatment. He knows exactly what's happening. He gets excited when he comes through here. He knows what's going to happen. He doesn't shy away from the needles. He accepts it gladly. And yeah, he's an ideal patient for this type of treatment.
Some Western doctors believe the acupuncture needles release pain-killing endorphins. Others say they trigger what's called gate control. In other words, the messages carrying the sensation of the needles reach the brain faster than the pain messages, effectively blocking out pain.
Acupuncture, if you really want to look at it, is the ancient form of physiotherapy. So, you know, the Chinese were way ahead of us when it came to physio and post-operative care and recognizing how energy moves around the body.
Chinese traditionalists believe illness is a state of imbalance or blockage in the energy flow, and acupuncture restores the natural balance. In the case of Eric, Dr. Hindmarch also uses mild electrical stimulation attached to the needles.
Okay, can you see the twitching? That is now pulsating. You can actually see the muscles in this area starting to pulsate. The problem with this is when we do it on humans, we of course have got the, okay Eric, you've got the situation where they can tell you, okay, they feel this, the current's getting that, they can give you a verbal sense. So what we've got to do is when we work on the animals, we've got to do it in such a way that we hopefully don't end up putting too much current through them and end up making it very uncomfortable for them, because that's the last thing we want to do is create pain.
Pain was something Chelsea the Labrador had lived with since she became paralyzed after hip surgery. Chelsea's owner, Sally Dunn, feared the worst.
It just got so bad she was crying with a lot of pain, and we were told she'd probably have to put to sleep.
Find out in Animal Doctors Part 2 how a paralysed Chelsea escaped pain and death to gain a new lease of life.